Yes, hello everyone. Welcome back to WD18, the Watford fan channel. Welcome to a really exciting player ratings. It's finished Watford 6, Bristol City 0. We're going to jump straight into it. I'd imagine there'll be a lot of high ratings today. And obviously, we mentioned in the match reaction about man of the match, and I think Sam went for Cleverley in the end. Elliot went for Sarr. I think we've gone for Sarr as the man of the match in the title. I think I'd probably side slightly towards Elliot in that respect, but there's so many good performances today, and I'm sure there'll be some really high ratings. I'll tell you what, Sam, I'll give you the first one, Daniel Backman, because you gave him a lot of praise in the match reaction that we just recorded, so make sure you go and check that out for our in-depth thoughts on Watford's performance today. But what he had to do, he did well, and he looked good with his feet. So what rating are you going to give him today, mate?
It's really difficult because I think with Backman, you can't really go too over the top because he didn't really have anything to do. I think they must have had, one shot on target, maybe two. I can't exactly remember. But generally, just the way he allowed us to build from the back with his distribution from his feet, I'll go for an 8.5.
8.5? Rudy's gone for a 7. I mean, he got a clean sheet as the whole back.
I'm saying it's really difficult because I can understand where Rudy's coming from, where a lot of people might give him even 6s because he didn't do anything. But the fact that he got that clean sheet and he continues to impress whenever he's in the side, I'm just going to go for an 8.5.
And you do love Backman, don't you, Sam?
I love Backman.
You love him.
I love Backman. I love Backman. Genuinely, I really hope that, I'm a big Ben Foster fan as well, but as it stands, Backman is undroppable at the moment. Like he's been solid, fantastic, so good.
Yeah, and it was a clean sheet for him, a clean sheet for the back line today, Elliot. We'll cross over to right back first. We'll go for Kiko Femenir, who looked really bright down the right-hand side. What were you giving him today, mate?
He was dangerous going forward and he got a clean sheet. So I think, and I want to clarify that this is straight after the game, so we are going to be a little overreactionary with the ratings. 8.5 again.
8.5?
He was fantastic. He was so good. And he did everything right, in my opinion, and clean sheet to show for it. Yeah,
I think, to be honest, mate, I think you're about where I would have put him as well. I don't know about you, Sam, but I thought Kiko, I think it was David in the comments who said he just makes a massive difference when he plays that link up with Sarr. I think it was, as we said, the Sema goal where he just had like an empty net to put it in, but it was that link up play between Kiko, allowing Sarr to get to the byline, and it's that combination that's so impressive and so, I don't know, they just have real good connection. I think you said it perfectly, Elliot. That is a combination that's Premier League quality, without a shadow of a doubt. They work really well. Sam, we'll move on to the two centre-backs. William Troost Okong, who I think we admitted he was a little bit sloppy in the last couple of games, but I thought what he did well and looked solid at the back. So I'll be interested to hear what you made of him today.
I thought, again, it was, I agree with Elliot on Kiko, 8.5, but with Troost Okong, I think he was a bit shaky, and it wouldn't have surprised me if he brought Wilmot in over him. He looked much more solid today, won pretty much everything in the air. A couple of times he gave the ball away quite easily with his feet, and that's definitely an area of his game that he needs to work on, because with the ball, he's a fantastic defender, but perhaps with the ball at his feet, he needs to improve. So I'm going to give Troost Okong an 8.
An 8, yeah. I think the consensus is it's really difficult, I guess, with a 6-0 win, because you've got the clean sheet, but we looked pretty solid, didn't we? I think, as you said, there was only like 2 shots on target from Bristol, 1 shot on target. They only had 4 shots, so and they only had 36% possession, so they didn't really trouble the back line. But again, I thought what they did there to do well. Elliot, his partner Francisco Sarr took a little bit of a knock, didn't he, at one point? But I was fearing the worst because he's been so good for us. But is it a similar rating to Troost Okong for you, or is it a little bit higher or lower?
Yeah. I find it difficult to knock any of the back line, well, anyone in the whole squad today, but yeah, in the back line in particular, having got the clean sheet and not really having had much to do. I'm worried because I think 8.5 is probably the general rating that we'll give a lot of players, because it's difficult to break into the 9, and I think everyone was about an 8.5. So I think I'd give Sarr an 8.5, just because I think he did a little better at Troost Okong passing wise if we were to compare the two. And yeah, both were solid. 8.5 for Sarr.
Yeah, they're starting to form a bit of a partnership now, aren't they? Elliot, for you, Sam mentions about Troost Okong maybe not being as good with his feet as potentially Ben Wilmot in terms of distribution. Is that an area we maybe need to look out for in the next couple of games in terms of the centre-back partnership, or are you quite content with how it is at the moment? I think, to be honest, Sarr is probably I think we can all agree, the main centre-back now at Watford in terms of he's established himself. But it seems like it could be rotated between Troost, and Wilmot. But are you happy with the partnership at the moment between those two?
I'm very happy with the partnership at the moment, and to have the options that we have with the likes of Craig Cathcart, Ben Wilmot, and then Christian Kabasele coming back into.
I don't think Cathcart or Kabasele will break back into the team unless there's injuries. It's really difficult for them. I think those three between Sarr, Troost, and Wilmot are all so solid, and I mean, it's a whole separate debate on what our kind of best starting 11 is, but I think it'll be very unlikely, particularly Craig Cathcart, that we see them starting again this season.
Yeah, Kabasele as well. So we've got a lot of depth in that position. And one player we brought in to add a little bit of depth is Akraf Lazar for Adam Messina. Messina started today. Obviously, Lazar came on. Sam, for you, left back. Messina, again, goes about his business quietly, but again, really solid at left back, I thought. Again, and, I thought him and Sema had a good relationship down that left-hand side, which I'd like to see more of. So what would you give him for today's performance?
Yeah, occasionally at times I got a bit concerned with Messina, and occasionally as well, because I think at times he can get a bit too narrow. He likes to kind of take up a central position when we're attacking. But he wasn't punished for it because Bristol City pretty much didn't offer anything down that side. Very much under the radar again. Everything he did well. So I think a solid 8 out of 10 for Adam Messina.
8 out of 10. Right, midfield 3. Obviously, Cisco set up with a 4-3-3 today. We've been pretty consistent with the back line, but it was further forward that I think, Sam, you mentioned it. You expected a 4-4-2 because of what we've seen with Cisco playing Hughes out of position or cleverly. But he opted for the 3 in midfield, and we'll start with the base of that in the holding role, which was Will Hughes, Elliot. And I just thought he was absolutely fantastic today. I think the thing is with Hughes, he always picks the right pass. Technically, arguably the best midfielder at the club. He's just brilliant, absolutely brilliant that holding role. So I'd imagine it's a high rating for him.
Yeah, I'll give him a 9. I think he deserves it. He was absolutely fantastic. He offers so much defensively and going forward. He was at points the deepest of the 3 midfielders, and he didn't look out of place in a defensive role. And yeah, he was the reason why the midfield was so strong today. And of course, you don't. Chalobah and Cleverley were fantastic too, but I think Hughes was just the difference maker in moments of the game, and it's just so refreshing to have a player of that talent in the midfield that is able to create as much as he is and looks so comfortable on the ball and off the ball, I might add. So yeah, 9 out of 10. He was absolutely fantastic today. Yeah,
as David says in the comments, vision, work rate, challenges, passing. He is really so good. Almost the complete midfielder, particularly for the Championship. I thought he was absolutely fantastic today. And as I mentioned, Prime Pirlo would have been proud of that performance from Hughesy. We'll move on to his partner, one of his partners, Sam, Tom Cleverley. You gave him man of the match. High rating?
Yeah, I was it's difficult because I kind of want to give him a 9.5, but at the same time, I don't want to kind of get too carried away. So I think I'm going to give Tom Cleverley a 9 today, kind of like a 9.25. So I'll go for a 9 today for Tom Cleverley.
Round it down.
Again, welcome to WD18 maths lessons, everyone.
But you don't need the A-levels, lads, right? Okay.
Yeah.
We round it down if it's below 9.
The amount of goals we scored today, that was easy to lose count. So
yeah, that is true.
With what we've seen this season. But you know what? I said it already though, but he gets a lot of stick, but he leads by example. His work rate is so good. He drives the team forward. He presses. He never gives up. He's incredibly fit for someone who probably is coming towards the end of his career. I think that's the wrong word. He's probably peaking at the moment. So he's incredibly fit for someone in his position. So I'm going to give Tom Cleverley a 9, and today he's my man of the match.
Yeah, as Drew says, his work rate was absolutely fantastic in the midfield. I think Sarr's goal, I think it was his first one, wasn't it? As you said, Sam, I've lost count of the goals we scored today. But that pressing, it was a sloppy pass from the Bristol City back line. But the way he just harried and pressured and won that ball back. And then the vision, actually, to spot that pass from Sarr, which I think we actually made that goal look a lot easier than it was because Tom saw him in the corner of his eye. And Sarr, again, the finish was so composed. But as you said, Sam, I thought Tom Cleverley up there for man of the match. He just set the precedent with his work rate and his tenacity in the midfield. Moving on to Chalobah, Elliot. High ratings for both Hughesy and Cleverly, but Chalobah, it was so disappointing actually that yellow card came, because I would have liked to have seen Chalobah play a little bit more. But I thought it was a really good tackle, actually. I was very surprised it was a yellow card, let alone...
Game's gone.
Yeah, it was crazy, wasn't it? But obviously he didn't play as much as the other two, but I thought he was pretty good. Pretty fair.
Yeah, I don't want to knock him because of only playing a half. I don't want to be too harsh. I think for the 45 minutes he had, he was fantastic. I think that tackle warrants an up in rating alone, even though he got a yellow card for it. I thought it was a brilliant tackle. I think 8.5. I think he was really, really good. And like Sam said in the match reaction, I think we're seeing him back to his best. And he's sort of doing what Capoue did. He's filling the shoes of Capoue. And I thought for the 45 minutes he had, he was brilliant.
One of the first names on the team sheet for me at the moment, Chalobah. I think he's so important to this Watford side. Just the protection he offers to the defence, and also I think he's now starting to change his game where he can transition the ball into midfield and into attack as well. So for me, he's so important.
Yeah, Sam, would you go for an 8 as well for
Yeah,
Chalobah?
yeah. I'd go higher. I'd say 8.5. I know he only played the first half, but fantastic today. So
yeah,
good.
I think he's in that bracket, isn't he, between an 8 and an 8.5. I think he was. I think Chalobah was really good today. I think he's better in a midfield 3. Actually, I think having that little bit more protection with Hughesy and Cleverly, there was a nice balance in that midfield. I like to see that more often. Someone mentioned about Chalobah's yellow cards. I don't know whether he's now suspended for Preston.
I think he needs one more.
Is it one more? One more. Yeah,
so.
That's something to keep an eye on, isn't it? With Chalobah's disciplinary record. Sam, we'll move on to the front 3. I'm going to give you. I tell you what, because Elliot gave Sarr man of the match, we'll let him talk about him a little bit more. But we'll start with the king, the Swedish king, the GOAT, Ken Semmer. What would you give him today?
Wow, that is a. It's not difficult. It's easy. 9 for me. I thought he was brilliant. Drove the ball forward, pressed really high up. Occasionally this season, I think his end product has lacked, but today he got it all perfectly. I don't think the first goal has been credited to him actually.
How was that not credited to him?
Whatever. I guarantee. We'll probably appeal it to the league, or at least he will.
Ken's going to be at the EFL headquarters tomorrow.
Live press conference with Ken Semmer. He turns up with the whole royal family behind him. The King Ken Semmer.
Yeah.
Just walks in with his crown. No, 9. I thought he was because we've criticised him on here, saying that he started the season really well and had that little breakout of the team, and then came back and wasn't as good. But I think. And last week, I didn't think he was too great either, but today was absolutely superb. It was the Ken Semmer we saw. He was confident at the start of the season, powerful in his running. So I'm going to give him a 9 today. Yeah,
he was brilliant. I thought Ken, though I think the front 3 there was so much movement, but Ken down the left hand side, he was just a constant menace, and really, really good today. I think definitely a 9's warranted. We'll move on to. I'll have to do Sarr now because. You'll do JP, Sam. Is that's all right? We'll cross over Sarr to Elliot. Man of the match for you. Set up 2 of the goals, scored 2, contributed 4 out of the 6 goals. Man of the match. It is crazy. I think, to be honest, the fact he was on a hat trick as well and still set up Zinkenagal. Although there was great performances across the pitch with the midfield, I'm finding it hard not to give Sarr man of the match. Is it? What are you giving him today, Elliot?
10.
I'm running out of
superlatives. The first 10.
It's got to be a 10. Surely, Elliot. I don't want to pressure you, mate, but there's comments. There's a lot of 10s.
It was a 10 out of 10 performance,
Yeah.
To have that many goal contributions, and he was too good. I'm running out of words and superlatives to describe that performance, because that is the Sarr we know that we have, and we know he is capable of being. Absolutely amazing. Like I say, I've run out of words to describe that performance, and I think 10 out of 10 probably does sum it up best, because it was a perfect performance from him.
Unreal, absolutely unreal. And just on that, Elliot, I know we mentioned the match reaction, but the fact he was on a hat trick and still squared it to Zinkenagal, I mean, I just think that's brilliant, really. I think that actually, he could have quite easily gone for the hat trick, but that just showed so much. Showed the team ethic, really, which I think has come under question a little bit. But the fact he was unselfish in that position to square it to Zinkenagal, I thought was another big positive today. Sam, moving on to JP, who didn't get on the score sheet, did he? But he had two opportunities. Well, he had quite a couple of opportunities. He should have got a goal. But his overall performance today, that was probably the one thing missing, because I thought he linked up the play well. His movement was good off the ball. He interchanged with the wingers. What rating would you give him today, despite him not getting on the score sheet?
I think I said this earlier quite a lot with João Pedro. I think he kind of brings this certain arrogance to the Watford side that we kind of need, that kind of Brazilian flair and creativity that we've lacked kind of a lot over the last few years. I'm going to go with an 8 today for João Pedro, because he didn't score and he probably should have had a couple more. But you have to remember, he's a young player, and the fact he's getting into those positions is really promising, unlike a couple of other strikers that we've had at the club this season. So no, we're staying positive today. We're staying positive.
But Sam, just to elaborate on that, surely he's got to keep his position in the team now.
Yeah, 100%, because I think it will, he'll start dispatching away these opportunities the more he plays as well. So I think an 8 is fair today for him, simply because he didn't score and he was in the front three. So I imagine he'll be gutted that he didn't score. But mentioned it in the match reaction as well. But I just love the way also he gets really involved in the games in terms of being passionate, and the way he squared up to one of their players towards the end. I think it just shows his commitment to the cause.
Yeah, Aaron said deserves a high rating for that scrap alone.
Yeah, we'll give him a 10 as well then. We'll give him a 10 as well.
I'll tell you what, move on to the bench, Elliot. Xisco made 5 substitutions in the end. I think, obviously, he got on the score sheet, so we'll start with Philip Zinkenagal. Made a real impression when he came on and got on the score sheet. So I guess it's only a positive, and surely will get his confidence up. His first goal for the club. But overall, what rating would you give Philip Zinkenagal for his cameo off the bench?
Just given that it was a cameo, I think I'd give him a. Am I harsh to say 7.5?
No, I think that's about.
I don't think he was. I don't think he was incredible. I think he was good today, I don't want to be negative in any sense. So I think he was good today. He came on when the game was done, and he still managed to get a goal. He was clearly a part of the attack, and there's clearly a lot to be happy about there, and a lot that we're going to see from him. So yeah, 7.5. I think 8 would look good. 8 would probably work as well. Yeah,
7.5, 8. Yeah.
Yeah, he looks brilliant, and I can't wait to see him get a run in the team, because we're going to see a lot of goals and a lot of assists from him.
Yeah, I think that he kind of, because we said in the match reaction as well that it's now not necessarily in his hands whether he gets in the team. All he can do now is kind of impress in the cameos and try and displace one of those front three, or perhaps the attacking midfielder spot. But for me, I think one thing, it's difficult to say because he came on when we were 4-5-0 up, but I think he has to probably do more off the ball in terms of pressing, because something the front three all offered today was they were pressing really high up the pitch, and I don't think perhaps he likes doing as much of the dirty work off the ball. So that's an area of his game that he can improve. But yeah, I agree with Elliot. It's probably a fair rating.
Yeah, and Sam, the other player who, well, he made his Watford debut today, was Dan Gosling. Came on for Nathaniel Chalobah at half-time, obviously with Chalobah on a yellow card. I think that was a smart move from Xisco to give him a break. And also, it wasn't anything to do with his performance, but obviously he was on a yellow, and we don't want to risk that second yellow going into a busy period. But Dan Gosling obviously making his Watford debut today. What did you make of the 45 minutes he was on the pitch? He obviously justifies a rating because he was on for half of it.
Yeah, so it's really difficult because I think he's still getting up to fitness. I think that was probably, he hasn't played that much this season, but I think he showed his kind of niche quality that he will bring to this Watford side in terms of experience and kind of holding onto the ball and keeping the ball moving. So didn't really have a big impact on the game, but helped us kind of see out the win, even though it was 4-0 at the time. But I think 7.5. I'll go 7.5.
Yeah, I thought, Elliot, what did you make of Dan Gosling on his debut? I thought he just looked really comfortable. Considering he hadn't had a lot of minutes for a while, we've got to take that into consideration. He wasn't exactly the first name on the team sheet at Bournemouth with the amount of midfielders they have. So what did he make of him in his kind of first match minutes for the club?
Yeah, I think I'd give him an 8. I'd go a little bit higher than Sam, because I think he did everything he needed to really well. I think he was the perfect player to bring on at halftime, even just without the fact that Chalobah picked up a yellow card. And yeah, overall, he did everything we needed him to do. He controlled the midfield. He didn't give any Bristol City players any real opportunity to cause a counter-attack or create any chances. And despite not playing football in a little while, he looks very comfortable in a Watford team that he's not played in yet at all. So yeah, 8 out of 10 for me.
Yeah, I think Gosling deserves an 8 out of 10. I think when you take into consideration about his fitness levels and stuff, I thought he did really well and looked comfortable and just kept it ticking over really when that's all we needed at that point in the game. But what was it, 4-0 when he came on? We weren't going to lose the game, but we just needed to sit it out in the right way. And I thought he kept that intensity, which was good. So moving on to, I think probably Ben Wilmot only had about 10 minutes. So is it probably a little bit, probably not enough to get a rating?
I don't think you can really, I think probably the only one who merits one is Andre. Sorry, just laughing quickly. The Watford admins just posted the picture of Kiko in the snow out on his chair.
Quality.
Love that.
I tell you what, have we got two? I mean, we've got some good-looking fellas. Zinkenagal, Kiko. I mean, the list goes on. But I think Gray and Wilmot probably weren't on the pitch for long enough, maybe to get.
I think Gray was disappointing again. I know he's probably so harsh to say because it was 6-0, but he's on the pitch for 15 minutes and got caught offside twice. Controlled the ball really badly at one point.
It almost feels like sorry, Sam. It just feels like with Andre, he's so eager to impress that he's trying too hard. He's trying so hard. He's panicking almost with these offside runs because he does it all the time. It's almost like he's so eager to impress that he just, I don't know, he just gets caught offside too much. I'll tell you what, Sam, a better rating to throw at you. Akraf Lazar had a little cameo. What did you just make of him in general?
Yeah, it's probably not too fair to rate him. I think it's really positive to have a left back in there. It's quite ironic actually that we said in the preview how we thought that perhaps that deal wouldn't go through, and then 10 minutes later it's time for us. So that was kind of a positive. But it's covered for Adam Messina, and whether he's good or not, we couldn't really tell today. A couple of tidy touches, but nothing really of note. But the concept of Lazar, I think I can get behind, and I don't mean to do Ben Wilmot as well, but again, he's just showed again today why he's so versatile. I don't know if Elliot, you've got anything you want to say about that? He's played at right back, so just positive.
Yeah, just very happy with Ben Wilmot. He's got to get a start at some point, and I think with rotation, I don't want to rotate too much because I'm hesitant to change a winning formula. But if he was to be in the side on Tuesday or next weekend, I wouldn't complain. He's clearly very comfortable. I think he probably wants a lot more minutes than he's getting at the moment. I think he deserves more minutes than he's getting. Yeah. It is very difficult to get into a back two of the centre back pairing of Sarr and Troost at the moment because they are both playing well. But I'd be frustrated if I was him, and I would be hoping to get a few more minutes. So for him to come in today and be comfortable out of position, and I was very happy with Ben Wilmot today.
Yeah, I think Ben Wilmot's a real talent. He's definitely the future of this football club. So if we can get him more minutes, that'll be really good. And he's so versatile as well. He can play left, centre, or right back as well. So Ben Wilmot's definitely one to keep an eye out for. In terms of Xisco Munoz, Elliot, bold lineup, got it spot on, best performance of the season. What are you giving Xisco Munoz today for his performance?
I'm biased. I'm thinking
Xisco Disco.
I'll give him a 9. I think that, I'll give him a 9. I don't think he did anything wrong. I'd have liked more goals, but everyone would like more goals. But I think he managed the game perfectly. We never looked threatened, even when we played a sort of maybe more defensive style or more conservative style. We didn't really want to give up possession. We played it very well, and I think he recognises now that this is the formation to run with. He sort of said that in his post-match press conference, and he said that there will be a repeat of this performance again. I think 9 is maybe even harsh. I'm seeing a couple of the people say in the comments say 9.5, 10, whatever. I think he was very good today. I know Sam may disagree with me because of he said about shaping and substitution. So I don't know if you want to.
I don't disagree with you. I think he did get it right, and I think we only saw kind of the changes today because we were 5-0 up. I don't think if we were, for example, only winning 1-0 or trailing 1-0, I don't think we would have seen Gosling, Lazar, maybe even Zinkenagal. So I think he kind of had the area to work with today, and it was kind of, I don't want to say trialing, but he's mentioned in press conferences how much he's interested in trialing different shapes when he can do so. So perhaps he was trying that today. I just thought that there was a kind of a period where about 10 minutes or so where I thought we completely lost the shape and couldn't really tell who was playing where. But I don't think it's necessarily a criticism. I'd give him a 9.5 probably.
Yeah, it has to be a high rating, doesn't it, for Xisco? Because, as I said, I thought he got his lineup absolutely bang on in his tactics and his substitution. So definitely a high rating. But let us know your player ratings down in the comment section below. It's finished Watford 6, Bristol City 0. Thank you to Sam and Elliot for joining me for the player ratings. Make sure you go and follow them on their socials at Sam_Uko and at Elliot_Murray. Take care, guys. Up the Hornets. We'll be back for a preview on Monday for Preston, but we'll be back tomorrow for Sunday night with Shane, which he seems to love.
I'm so excited for that. I'm so excited for that.
Sunday night with Shane. So make sure you subscribe to the channel so you don't miss it and turn on your post notifications. Leave a like on the video if you enjoyed, and we will see you very, very soon for some more Watford-focused content. Take care, guys, and come on, you Hornets.